Around this state and see what we're doing in solar and wind turbines and fuel cells. You can see what we're doing in advanced energy manufacturing. There are a lot of things going on in this state that once the national economy gets better, we're going to be in much better position coming out of this recession than we were 30 years ago out of the recession of the 1980s.
Having looked at this report, what's the key item? Of the 39, is it education, higher education?
I think the key is always education in terms of training a workforce, in terms of providing opportunities so people can join the middle class.
One last question tonight on healthcare. You've been pushing for a public option now for months. You've been quite optimistic that it's going to be part of it. That optimism gone? Or
no, there's a renewed interest in the public option. I think more importantly there is a renewed public interest in passing healthcare legislation. 400 people every single day in Ohio lose their health care. Hundreds of other people are increasingly burdened every day with higher out-of-pocket expenses and fear of losing their health care. And we've got to address that. It's a clear public interest to pass a health care bill that helps people preserve what they have, but protects them against insurance companies cutting them off. And the second part is helping small business insure their employees, which they want to do, and cover the uninsured.
Senator, good to see you.
Sure,
Thank you.
Thanks.
Senator, I hope that somebody already asked. That's why I'm going to do it again.
Does your presence here mean that you endorse everything that's in the report?
No, I mean, I don't know. I don't know what the details yet are going to be in terms of, how we do consolidation, if we do, what it means for local governments. What I strongly endorse is a much better partnership between federal government and local and state governments. What I also strongly endorse is much more efficiencies in city governments and regional government and school districts. And I think we're making some progress already on that.
And did you need a report to tell you this?
No, but I think that this report gives a lot of specifics. I mean, it's 60 pages long. I read it. I think there are a lot of specifics here and a lot of evidence that's really fortified, if you will, by a lot of discussion and a lot of study. So I think to go up this steep hill, you need a lot more evidence and support from a broad section of the community. I think we're getting that.
And do you see this report as being pretty consistent with the Democratic policies up till now?
I think this report is consistent with what most people in both parties think we need to do. People that have really thought about waste, about efficiency, about job creation. This will help make Ohio a more attractive state for business. It will help. It will help with stimulus dollars and creating jobs in the state. Just last week, a company announced 400 jobs in Youngstown because of a decision President Obama made on trade, coupled with the stimulus dollars. We're going to see more and more of that in the state.
Tell them that we can reduce
consolidations, state lawmakers, federal lawmakers. This idea has been around for decades and never goes anywhere. School districts want to keep their identity. Is there something that can really break this logjam?
Well, there's an example in Wayne County right now. Two school districts have merged their manager, their superintendent, their administrative functions. They've kept the two school districts, and so there is a valedictorian at each high school. There's a quarterback on the football team at two high schools, and there's a president of the Key Club at both high schools. But there is much more efficiency in management. I think we'll likely see more of that. Whether that's the way to go or some other way is going to be up to the legislature, not to federal officials.
School districts can already do that voluntarily. Are you proposing that state government order school districts?
Well, I think it's up to what the governor and the state legislature decide makes the most sense. But I think we need to look at this much more seriously. What we do with local governments, what we do with school districts, because we're spending a lot of money that's not directly aimed at services in cities and not directly aimed at students' education in school districts. And I think when I see what other states are doing and Ohio's a little behind the curve, I think it's important we look at it very, very seriously this year.
Do you think the state is ready to look into that? It's always been a hot subject.
I think the state is. I think the state's ready. An election year, maybe they don't move as fast as a lot of people would want them to, but I think that the state government understands in both parts. I hope that I sincerely hope that one side doesn't try to make political hay out of attacking the other side on this. This is one which really should not have partisan distinctions, and one that really shouldn't have ideological differences, but is about efficiency, is about job growth because of those efficiencies, about making Ohio more attractive as a state.
Thanks, Senator.